everybody. Um, Today, I really love this topic. It's very interesting because it's, we'll say, a little controversial in the sense the topic is forgiveness. So I say controversial because I know I used to be that person. Um, I'd say maybe, I don't know if it like 10 years ago, but 20 years ago for sure, where people would talk about forgiveness and I would hear these things and I wouldn't really get it and I wouldn't accept it, and I would say things like, well, that person doesn't deserve to be forgiven, and all these things, and I would hold grudges. And I think, especially younger, not having learned a lot of life lessons and stuff, you don't realize how toxic hanging on like grudges are. For some reason, I remember being in my early 20s, and I don't know, having a grudge somehow felt comforting. It was very odd. I am not quite sure why this was a thing, but I know having that feeling kept me from even thinking about wanting to forgive someone who had wronged me for whatever reason. I definitely held grudges like a lot, and even my boyfriend. Oh my goodness, what have we been together? 14 years now, and even he will attest to my holding a grudge issue. So I guess as of 14 years ago, I could still hold a mean grudge. And the main thing with this, I feel like that is most people. It's very hard to forgive anyone, let alone forgiving ourselves, but other people that have, done us some sort of wrong, harm, broken trust, whatever it might be. We take these things very seriously. Now, the misconception is we think that forgiveness is for them. And to some degree, like we've seen in the movies and stuff, people on their dying, their deathbeds are like, I need you to forgive me. Um, so I guess in that regard, it could be saying it to them, letting them know that you've forgiven them would be, I guess, a little bit more for them, like sharing the information. But at the heart of it, at the core, the actual act of forgiveness is for us. It's to alleviate that toxic negative energy from ourselves. And that's where we kind of miss that piece. We don't really know that piece of the puzzle, right? So that's a big one, and that one was difficult for me to learn because, like I said, boy, was I a grudge holder. Thinking back, and it's like that girl in junior high, and she did this, and oh, if I ever saw her, like, right, like, and I feel, especially as women, we are exceptionally good at holding grudges. I'm not so sure about a lot of men out there. I find at least most of the guys I always hung out with, they're more laid back. They're more, you maybe you fisticuff or wrestle a bit, all is forgiven, and you go grab a beer together. So grudges don't really seem to be um, so much a male trait, but more the female. And just a personal side note, I just think that's because we're a little more emotional. We have well, I hate to blame it on the hormones, but we are more hormonal. We have more emotions. I think it all ties in together, which is also why, getting that emotional regulation will also help, right? I know it all ties together. It's crazy. I could take pieces from all of my videos, all of my lives, and, link them in this big giant circle of, this is us. It really is crazy. But that's the beautiful part, is if you work on one of these inadvertently, you're kind of working on them all because they are all tied together. But yeah, this forgiveness, it really is, um, it is for us. Holding grudges, not letting go is very negative. I don't know, some of you guys watching, I don't know if you guys believe in energy cysts, and or if you've heard, people have said before, and tons of people, I know tons of people that wholeheartedly agree, like, oh, that kind of negativity, he's gonna like create a tumor or something, right? So we do kind of believe in this sort of ability to happen, like creating illnesses. Similarly, people, oh, if they don't learn to relax, they're going to give themselves a stroke, right? This ability of our own attitudes, our own emotions, creating bad diseases, creating illnesses, creating tumors or whatever in ourselves, right? Like we have that ability to create those issues in ourselves if we can't kind of check ourselves, regulate ourselves, get ourselves under control, right? And the forgiveness one, what I've learned is that really holds us back. Obviously, everything I teach, everything I talk about is kind of, I always kind of feel like a hippie. Maybe I'm just some weird new age hippie, like love and light, be positive, gratitude, love everything. I always feel like such a hippie when I say these things, but that is my world. That is what I teach. It is all about like positivity and gratitude every day. If you're in the feeling, if you're in the attitude of gratitude, attitude of gratitude, oh dear. So if you're in the attitude of gratitude, you're in the energetic vibe of receiving, because you're being grateful for everything you have, which makes the universe, whatever higher power, God, Mother Nature, whatever you want to call the bigger, higher entity out there, it makes it want to give us more, right? It's that law of attraction. If we're feeling negative and we're holding grudges and we have that toxic, like holding on, law of attraction says universe gives us more things to hold on to, more things to be negative about, right? Whatever we're feeling, whatever we're putting out there, we're getting back. So this is why always be positive, always be grateful, because then we get more things to be grateful for, right? So this is that. Now I have done this, going through forgiveness and going through and forgiving all the people. And one of the biggest ones is this one will truly hold you back in life, whether it is yourself growing as a human being. It will most likely hold you back in business. I discussed, I don't know if I discussed in my last video, I can't remember if I talked about how our self-worth, how we see ourselves, how we value ourselves affects everything. It transitions, it's like the little core with the spider webs into every aspect of our lives. And that includes our business, because um, if it's our work, if you're an employee, it's going to be the actual work you do, because everything we do, everything we put hands on, everything we work with, everything we create, we put some form of an extension of ourselves in it. And that's even just the language you use, the punctuation you use if you're giving a report, words you choose to use. It's all extensions of ourselves, right? Whether you're more wordy because you're a chatty Cathy like I am, or you're less wordy because you're very directed to the point. Ourselves are in everything we do, everything we make, everything we touch. We leave that little imprint of ourselves. This goes especially if you are a business owner, because we create that business. It is, and I've talked with, a lot of my clients and the people online, business owners, and we all kind of agree. It's another baby. It is a different kind, but it's another baby. We create it, we grow it, we nurture it, we want it to get bigger and thrive. And we put all this love, attention, effort, we put ourselves into that business. So if we have people that we refuse to forgive, we're hanging on to that negativity, there is no way. Maybe your business is successful or successful enough, but if you want it to grow, this will hold you back, right? And similar with yourself, whatever you're trying to, if you want to get promoted, if you want to do better, you want to be bigger, you want to do more. This negativity really, it's like an anchor, like a ball and chain on our ankle. It is holding us back. We have a ball and chain on our ankle and we are trudging through the mud. That's what hanging on to this negativity is like. Like, it is so toxic because then every time you think of that person, if that person gets mentioned or they happen to pop into your head for whatever reason, instantly that anger, that hatred, that whatever, but it is going to be a negative feeling, pops up inside you. And the only way to get rid of that feeling is by forgiving them, right? So all of those feelings stay in you if you do not forgive. So this is why it's so important, because obviously we all know, whether you really believe in the energy and how deep you are in that side of stuff, having negativity in you, being a sour person, does not do you any good. And I personally believe, a lot of us believe, it literally causes you harm, like potentially physical harm over time. So this is a big one, but it really is very, very important. I had, recently, I want to say even like a month ago, maybe two, but it was very recently, where I didn't realize I was holding on to something within myself. And so I did this forgiveness thing, and it was crazy. I did not expect the result. I thought I had a pretty good clean slate. I'm, literally teach people to do this, but this is just a great example of how we are onions. We peel a layer and there's just more layers beneath. We have to uncover, it's like an archaeological dig. We have to uncover one whole layer before we can get to the next layer and deal with that, right? Like, everything is in those nice layers, and we just keep digging and we just keep discovering and we just keep sweeping and uncovering what's next, right? I mean, that to me, it's not a negative, it's a beautiful thing, because it's just how complex we are as people, and how we have infinite possibility to grow and be better. I love it. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but I just think it's wonderful how amazing we are as human beings. And but back to forgiveness. So this is why it's so important. And my forgiveness thing, I wrote myself. So what you do is you think of what it is, and here you have to pull out a positive, right? You have to, there's a positive in every situation. And this is that key. We're learning to develop being able to pull out a positive no matter what the situation. There is a positive. I promise you, even situations that are so dark we do not want to think about them, there is still a positive in there somewhere, because everything has a positive. Everything. Life has balance. If there's a negative, there's a positive. And that's just how it works. Um, so I just want to, put that out there. It that is a true fact. Maybe some of us don't like to hear it. We don't want to admit it. We don't want to think about it, but it is true. Everything has a positive. We just have to be able to see it. And this is where practicing those skills every single day, doing that homework, really training our minds to instantly pull out that positive, and then we will always just naturally be able to do that. And so when we go to think of people we need to forgive, we think of that situation, whether you need to write it down or not, and you find the positive, something good that came out of there, right? For example, my dad, I have this memory, and he probably didn't mean to do it on purpose, but very much, um, it was known to me that, he wanted. I have a brother, but my brother is like really nerdy computer guy, doesn't go outside a lot, and my dad wanted to like build projects, build a fence, do these things, and I would always offer to help him because I'm that person. I am the boy he always wanted, but didn't have, and I'm a girl. And even though I had all the same interests as him, I wasn't a boy, so he didn't want to spend time with me, right? So that was very inadvertently clearly made to me that He did not want to spend time with his daughter. He wanted to do son stuff only. And even though I love to do the son stuff, it was not good enough. So, okay, fair enough. Now, I had created a story in there about myself and my dad. And I had to, the story around that was essentially I had to prove myself. I had to prove that I'm as good as all the boys. I am worth spending time with, even though I'm a girl. That was kind of the little story I made up. The positive of this is it really did push me. It kind of set the was it the spark under my butt, where I started lifting weights with the guys at 16. I would go to the gym with the guys. I started arm wrestling. Like, I really dove pretty deep into being that tomboy. Really, oh, you like trucks? I love trucks too. Oh, you like this? I love that too. Not not that I pretended, but like actually we do love trucks. And but just kind of trying that little extra effort of learning about certain things that maybe I wouldn't have bothered before. Learning about proper, lifting weights at the gym. There's, certain techniques, proper ways to do that. Deciding that I want to be strong and independent. I don't want to be, I had created a story about, women are weaker, and kind of from, again, from my dad, like I don't want to be this weak, wispy little fairy female. I want to be someone who can take care of myself, and I can basically stand up to any of the guys out there. Which I really love this about myself because I can be independent, especially like, here in Mexico, we have to get water delivered. You have to drink bottled water. That's like non negotiable. There's no filters you can put on to make the water drinkable. Here it is just bottled water. And so it comes in those big 20-liter or gallon jugs, those really big ones you buy at the store, and they come around, they deliver them. Well, I can easily, if my boyfriend is not here for whatever reason, I can grab those jugs myself. I can lift it up into, we have I can never pronounce it, Santivia, one of those filtration systems, and it remineralizes in the bottom because, I am a new age hippie apparently. And so I can lift that jug right up. It's a little bit taller than my head, and I can refill the top of that full jug all by myself because I'm strong enough to do these things. I can lift probably, I think I could still lift my 90-pound dog if I really had to. Like, I love these things about myself. But part of what drove me to be that person is that event, that negative thing that created a story, and I had to go back and deal with that, the negative part of it. But that positive part is it really built that fire in me to be independent, to be able to not have to rely on people, and that's a big part of who I am now. And I really do love that about myself, right? So it's just, again, finding those positives, and then you write down, okay, what is great that came out of this situation? Okay, you know what? I love this. It helped me be this. It helped me be driven. It helped me focus on my health more. It helped me realize that XYZ, these positive things. And then you write yourself a letter. You write a little letter, you forgive that person. Maybe it's yourself, whoever it is. And then, we wish them well, and we carry on, and that's that. And when we forgive someone, you should feel that weight. You should feel the negative lifting, the negative leaving you, right? So it really is quite the powerful thing. Like I said, I've done it recently myself. There was a few things I'd forgotten about, so we went back up, we cleaned that up. And the other thing is, I will just give you a heads up. If you do decide you want to start forgiving people, you want to start what I'll call cleansing the system, really getting rid of that negativity. This is actually oddly exhausting. I was shocked how exhausted I was. So just be prepared, especially if you're going to forgive yourself for one thing, many things, whatever it is. That's the biggest one. And once you forgive yourself, like, plan an hour afterwards where you're not doing anything. Like, do not do this before going to work or going out with friends or something. Like, this is almost like, you're in for the night, or you're having a coffee and maybe you have a good hour where you can just rest and be in nature and enjoy whatever it might be. But yeah, this can be very exhausting work. It really kind of drains you, which I also appreciate, because to me, that proves it's doing something, right? Like, you're having that physical and mental effect. Well, you have to have been doing something. Something has been accomplished for you to feel like that, right? So it really is. It's quite a fantastic little thing. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at its effects. And like I said, it is really important. If you're not ready, um, you might have to work with this a little bit. Maybe throw on a couple forgiveness meditations, really open yourself up to the idea of forgiving. Again, it's not for them, it's for your benefit. You forgiving someone, as weird as it sounds, it actually has nothing to do with them, like, at all, right? Like, you never, you forgive Sandy from grade 10 who stole your crush or whatever. You don't call Sandy up and tell her. She will never know. You never need to tell them these things. It's for you, right? Now, I will say, because this will also include horrible things that have happened, perhaps, maybe relatives that have done really negative things. When when you have a strong hurt like that, like a betrayal or something, forgiving them does not mean you condone what they did. It does not mean that you accept and you're okay with what they did, right? Like, that's not what this is. It's not saying that they were okay to do it. It's saying, I'm moving on. I'm no longer giving you the power to have this control. I'm no longer allowing you to take space, whether it's in your mind, your heart, wherever you hold this negativity. I am no longer giving you any time, any attention, any energy, anything. That's what forgiveness is. It's cleansing yourself of that person and whatever had happened in that situation. So again, it's not saying it's okay. It's not saying you're going to let something happen again. It's not saying anything. It's just getting rid of that person out of your being, right? Because it, again, you're holding on. If you have that grudge, you're holding on to that negativity. Whatever emotions, the anger, the betrayal, the hatred, whatever emotions are associated with that person you won't forgive, those emotions are inside you. They're taking up space. They have a little apartment building. They're in you always. And that is just basically, we're evicting that. We're getting rid of it. We're tossing it out. That is all it is. It doesn't mean I'm okay with it. It means I forgive you for doing it. I'm choosing to move on with my life. I hope this is making sense, you guys. I hope I'm explaining it well enough, right? So, again, it has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with their actions. It is the fact that you are done allowing them to affect you, take up space with you, feed off your energy, possibly affect you negatively, like physically, all these things. You are choosing to move on with your life. You are empowering yourself to take back that space and move on. And this is part of that, taking responsibility for yourself and knowing that you can move forward without the baggage. We're getting rid of the baggage, right? We are leaving it behind. Okay, so I hope this is resonating with you guys. I hope it's all making sense, because this is really important stuff, for growing, for moving on. Again, this can hold us back in so many ways. Our businesses, financial, relationships, like so many different ways. And yeah, so this is This is a big one. I know, I say that every time. This is important. It's all important. I know. But yeah, this is when you're ready. You know what? And you guys, if you need help with this, or anything, you have questions, like, please, in the comments below, feel free to question. Actually, I don't know. I think I have my Facebook link. You can look me up on Facebook. You can DM me. I am happy to help. I have free mini courses I put on, webinars. I do these free events. So it's not even like you have to pay out of pocket, or like I have my self-worth one coming up. It's 30 Canadian dollars, just because it's limited space and I want serious, like, people who are actually going to show up, not just, oh, I'm registering and then no one shows up, because people do that all the time. It's pretty funny. We are a funny society. But yeah, I have a lot of these free things you can partake of if you feel that you are ready, but you think you need extra help. Like, reach out to me. I will drop my Facebook link in the comments, just to make sure. So yeah, guys, I hope it is a really, like, yeah, after you do it, you just take that breath and you're like, okay, yeah, okay, like, it's good. I can't wait for you to try it. Anyway, I am starting to ramble, so I'm going to cut it off here. Again, have a wonderful weekend. Let's remember that self-care. It is non-negotiable. Self-care is caring about yourself. We all deserve self-care. We all deserve happiness, and make it a priority. You are a priority. You matter. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we'll see you next week. Oh, I should also say, subscribe. Subscribe, poke that, get the notification, do the bells. I always see everyone do it. I watch lots of videos and they're always like, subscribe to my page, subscribe. I never do it. So I'm throwing it out there today, guys. Subscribe, hit the bell, poke the little buttons, whatever it is.